It's time for Cookin' with Coaches, sponsored by Wise Markets.
I don't want to waste food, so what do?
How about certified Angus steaks, custom cut by a real butcher, so you can get them as thick or as thin as you want.
That's perfect.
That's Wise.
Eat better, spend less, that's Wise.
This is Joe Meehan, assistant coach with Bucknell Men's Basketball. Today, with the help of Wise Markets, I'm going to be making a plated meal of a wild-caught sockeye salmon, a Parmesan risotto, and a side of Brussels sprouts. Now we're going to start the prep for the Brussels sprouts, which we're going to be adding a medium onion and a jalapeno to. Now we're going to put the Brussels sprouts in a glass pan. We're going to add the onions over top and then add the jalapenos like so. Now for the salmon, we're going to first put some olive oil on top. And then we're going to go salt to taste. Ground pepper to taste. Garlic powder also to taste. I'm not going to measure anything. Ground cumin. Chili powder. And last, the secret ingredient, some brown sugar. And that's it. All right, we're gonna grill the salmon today. I'm just gonna plop it in at 450 and then let it sit. I don't know how much time it's gonna take, so I'm just gonna keep poking it until we find out. For the Parmesan risotto, we're gonna start with our onions, which we cut, add some olive oil on high heat. Then we're gonna go with some garlic powder, ground pepper, everything to taste, and some salt. Okay, we're gonna let this simmer and get hot, and then we're gonna add our rice, and then we're gonna start our reductions. As the onions are simmering right now, we're gonna add the chicken stock, and we're gonna keep it hot. So as we add it, the pan does not get any less hot. Put a lid over it to get it hot quicker. We got it on high heat, and then we'll let it simmer once we get it slight boil. All right, for the Brussels sprouts, we're gonna add some oil, garlic powder, ground pepper, everything to taste. Just make it up. Some salt. Some balsamic glaze. And then we're gonna mix that all up and put in the oven. All right, now that we've got the onions simmering for about 10 minutes, we're gonna add 2.5 cups of rice. And we're going to mix that all up. add a little more oil, and then let this sit for another 2 to 3 minutes. All right, we're about 7 or 8 minutes in with the salmon. It's cooking well. Probably got another 4 or 5 minutes, and then it's done. Now we're gonna add some white wine, a dry wine, Pinot Grigio. We're gonna go 3/4 cup. Add it in there. We're gonna let that reduce completely, and then we'll start adding the chicken stock. Next, for the risotto, we're gonna add 1/2 cup at a time chicken stock. Let it completely reduce, and then we're gonna repeat that step about 6 or 7 times. Salmon just got off the grill, looks great. You could say this meal is going to be a slam dunk. Once your reductions are done, you can see the rice is taking up much more of the pan. The rice is now nice and soft. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of Parmesan. We're going to mix that in. Once all the cheese is melted, we're going to go salt to taste, ground pepper to taste, and then we're going to finish it off with some parsley once it's plated. After about 20 minutes or so, Brussels sprouts are done. You can see a nice browning on the edges of the Brussels sprouts and the onions, and now they are ready to be plated. And the result. So we have the Parmesan risotto here with the parsley on top, the Brussels sprouts with the onions and jalapenos, and then finally the grilled sockeye salmon. Go Bison!